All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of A Journey to One Bitcoin, where I sit with you every single week and we stack Bitcoin together. All right, guys, we are at the end of the month. We've stacked all month of August and we've continued to build our Bitcoin savings. Bitcoin is down a little bit, right? We went from, about 117 to 108. Again, guys, no big deal. I think I say this in every single video. I don't really care about the dollar price of Bitcoin day to day. What I care is the long term, and that's where you're going to see the effect, right? So Bitcoin being at 108, Bitcoin even dropping to 99, the way I take it is it's a discounted price of Bitcoin. I think in the next 5 years, Bitcoin will be worth more than $500,000, possibly more. So what do I care if it goes from 110 to 99? What do I care if it goes from 120 to 108? It doesn't make a difference, right? That's the idea here, guys, is during these scary moments where there's some fear in the market, I'm here with you. I'm stacking. Don't be afraid. We're stacking together. I'm not going anywhere. You can count on that. So let's get to it, right? Okay, for this video, what we're going to do is a couple things. Number one, we're going to get our Bitcoin off the exchange. So we've stacked all month. We're at 0.1 Bitcoin on the exchange. We're going to go ahead and move that out to our cold wallet. I'll show you guys how to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and do our last buy of the month. We're going to set that up, and I'm actually going to do that on a different exchange today. I'm going to try Strike out. So earlier this week, I put a video out about exchange fees, showing you guys how much it costs in fees on each exchange. I went through 5 or 6 different exchanges and showed you which were the most expensive. Kraken wasn't the most expensive, but it was kind of a mid-tier exchange when it came to fee charges. So Strike, Swan, and River were actually the best when it came to fees. So I want to start checking out Strike and see how that works. And I'll walk you through that, and we'll do our first buy through Strike and see if the fees actually are better on there. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and jump into Kraken. Let's get our stuff moved out, and then we'll start setting up this next buy. All right, so now we're in Kraken, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do my withdrawal. Again, I'm at 0.01001 Bitcoin, and so we want to go ahead and get this off the exchange so that we can kind of start fresh with Strike and keep going. Again, the reason why we wait till it gets to at least 0.01 is for UTXO management, okay? What you want to think about when you're doing these buys and you're waiting for the 0.01 is that if you start to send out small transactions. Let me give you an example. If you start to send a bunch of, for example, $5 transactions to your cold wallet, right? It's basically like having a bunch of $5 bills in your wallet, okay? And now if you wanted to send out $100, you'd have to send out 20 different $5 bills. Each one of those $5 bills has a fee because there's an unspent transaction output, right? So then you have to pay each one of those, which is 20 little micro fees, right? That's an issue. So that adds up over time. That's number one. Number two, if the fees are too low during, if it's if the fees are too high on the network, it could be that you can't even send out your Bitcoin because the transaction is so small, right? So then it basically becomes what they call dust, Bitcoin dust. So you don't want those issues. You want to make sure that you have fatter chunks in your wallet, right? 0.1. And then that way you can cut down if you need to make a small transaction and you only get charged one fee, okay? So for example, if you had $1,000 in your wallet and it's like $1,000 bill and you got to send $100 somewhere, you take the 100 from that $1,000 and you send it out, right? Now you've got one fee rather than accumulating 20 different $5 bills, stuffing them all into a transaction to get to the 100, and now you've got all these micro fees. Okay, that's called UTXO management. So that's what we want to do, and that's what we're doing here every time we send out fatter chunks out of the exchange. Obviously, that's like a play because you have to be careful with the exchange, right? You don't want to keep too much money on the exchange either. So, I think a good number is 0.01. Once you hit that range, get it out of the exchange and keep going, right? So let's get this out of here and keep on going here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit withdraw. We're going to send on the Bitcoin blockchain. I'm sending it to my Trezor wallet, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the maximum. Now, why is it 0.09? Because there's a fee, right? The network fee is being charged. So if I go here available and I show why is that, it's showing me the fee is 0.00015. Okay, and I went through all the fees and why they are what they are in my fee video, the fees per exchange. If you're interested in seeing that, I recommend checking out that video so you guys can see the cost of these fees per exchange. It's actually pretty eye-opening. So I'm going to go ahead and review, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm send. All right, awesome. So we've gotten that off the exchange. We're all set there. So now let's go ahead and put in our next Bitcoin buy. I'm going to jump over into Strike. So we're all set here. Again, we are still in the month of August, so my budget has not changed for this month. It's there's 5 Fridays in August, so we're going ahead and going to stick with our current budget for August until the month ends. So I'm putting in that 391.58 buy for this month of August, and then again this week I will rebudget, so you guys can see that. I'll show you how I rebudget for the month of September. So we've got that 391.58 in here. Now, when you're using Strike, what I've noticed is you can't deposit via your desktop or your computer. You have to use your phone. So that's one thing I don't love. I like to use my computer, my desktop, when I'm doing all my kind of Bitcoin buys and moving money around. But so far it seems pretty good. So now I'm going to hit buy. Let me make sure you guys can hear me here. Hit buy, and then I'm going to do, instead of a single purchase, I'm going to do recurring, because when we looked at the fees in the fees video, what we saw was if you do recurring buys, they will not charge you a fee after the second buy. So once they see that you actually are doing recurring buys, they're going to go ahead and remove the fees from you. So for this one right now, we're going to do recurring purchase. We're going to do weekly, because that's how many times we do a buy on this channel, starting now. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the current Bitcoin price. Now, what I also don't like so far about Strike is that I can't do like a custom order, custom buy type of thing. It gives me whatever price that Strike wants to show me. Now, is there a big difference between this price and the actual Bitcoin price? Let's jump over here. So 108,817 is Bitcoin's current price, and here they're showing me 108,836. So there's like a $15 difference. Not that big a deal. Usually you'll see on other exchanges when you're not able to do a custom order, it's a couple $100 more. So that seems good to me. Bitcoin price. So let me see how we get this all set. Okay, so then that's it. Now I'm going to click max up here. I've got my next purchase set for September 6th. Bitcoin price, actually, look, see, they are marking me up 109,913. I don't love that, because I cannot do a custom order here, right? I'm going to go ahead and move forward just to test this out. Amount 387.89, so then they're also taking this 369 fee. Again, this 369 fee charges fee for buying and selling Bitcoin, which is based on your monthly trading volume. In this case, it's 0.95%. But again, what we had seen is that if we do this recurring, so if I do this again next week, they will go ahead and start waiving this fee. Okay, they just want to see that I'm actually doing recurring buys. So let's see how this goes. Again, I don't love that I can't set my price here for Bitcoin, and they're kind of giving me the price that they want. And as you guys can see, they're marking it up about, a couple $100. So I'm not crazy about that, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Okay, and that's it. We're all set. We have our Bitcoin balance here. So let me walk through that. So we've got 0.00355,837 that was bought, and then we're gonna go. Let's check out activity here. Receiving, sending, cost basis. Let's kind of walk through here. So we've got this one, purchase cost basis, acquisition price. It says here was our 109,007.78. Now, what I'm curious to know is, including fees, 391, right? So the fees were included. Acquired amount. And what I want to know Well, that's interesting. They don't give me a breakdown of the actual fees. They did on that one screen. But it doesn't give me a breakdown anywhere else. So I'd have to look at that and see how that works. But it does give me my average price, which is kind of cool. You don't see that in too many places. And that's where I have on my sheet, right, you guys can use. Unrealized loss is pretty much right away, again, because we are buying at that markup. So that's kind of what bothers me about that. But that's all right. We'll jump back in here into the accumulation log. Let's go ahead and plug it in with the information that we have. So we went ahead and made a buy. So again, we're filling this pretty much right away. We're not waiting to see if it fills throughout the week. So that's one of the good things. But again, we are buying at that market price, which I do not like with strike. So I'm going to put here strike. I'm going to go ahead and put here 391.58, and it said with fees included. So fee is really 0. And then we went ahead and filled that at 109,007.79. So there we go. We are all set with today's buy. We're doing it through strike. And guys, I did update the exchange list here, and I have put that updated in the shared sheet for you guys. So if anybody wants this sheet, again, you'll have it with all the updated exchanges that I have. And if you want to download that sheet, just look in the description below. You'll be able to find it. Click the link, and then you can just put in your name, your email address, and then you'll receive the sheet. Okay, the same exact sheet, so you can start going ahead and playing with that and doing your DCA strategy as well. So we're all set here, guys. We got our buy-in. Again, our live Bitcoin price is here. Our weighted average now is 110,869, so it's actually below the live BTC price for the first time. But the plan here now is as we accumulate at these lower prices, we'll start to bring down this average. Okay, so all set there. We are, where are we at now? We are at 0.055 Bitcoin, guys. We are at 55% of our goal, 56 according to the sheet here, rounding up. But we are getting there every single week. We are closer to that 0.1. Which is really exciting, guys. That's not, like I said before, that is not a small target. That is a hefty target for the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at $100,000, and so that's basically $10,000 in Bitcoin. And you're so early to this game, guys. I mean, it's 0.1 Bitcoin, I think, will be worth a lot of money shortly, not too long from now. So we're all set, guys. So for the next video, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go and do my budget, right? I'm going to re-budget for the month of September. I'm going to show you that process and what it looks like. Make sure that I'm calculating for all my expenses for what I expect to come in September, which I do think is going to be a bit of a cheaper month. I don't have too much going on. And then I'll see how much leftover cash flow I have for the month of September, and then we'll break that out into weekly buys, and we'll keep going. I'll probably do another buy through strike next week just to see how the fees get adjusted and removed. But I'm also going to look into Swan and River, because again, I do like to set my buys at the actual market price. I don't like that you guys are marking me up slightly to be able to take that spread. To me, that's kind of bothersome. So we'll see how it goes, and we will keep stacking along, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Again, if you like the channel, if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe. It's very important for the algorithm, for the channel to get out there and more people can stack along with me. Again, the idea is we're building out a community here that sits together every single week, or people that can only do it once a month. At least they see the notification, they get notified, and then they make sure that they continue to stack this in a disciplined way, right? And stay consistent with this process. Because again, when there's fear in the market and when there's moments where nobody wants to touch Bitcoin, that's the time when you need to start stacking. You got to make sure that you're there and you're doing the consistent buys. All right. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again later this week. Have a good one.